Okay, so hey everybody, I'm so sorry for being so late here on BookNation on the Vent Radio Network on Empower Sunday. Listen, I know y'all have been texting me and all of that, and I get it. I love y'all for following and pushing. I am here with the Tyeese Jackson. So yes, Tyeese is here. And so I definitely want to let you all know that I appreciate you. And so Vent Radio definitely loves you. And the only announcement I guess I can get to is the premiere of Beautiful Noise, which is going to be May 13th, 2022 here in Michigan at the Bel Air Theater. 7 p.m. is the red carpet. You want to get your tickets. They're flying like crazy to see this amazing cast of beautiful people come together to present a wonderful film. So you want to get your tickets to Beautiful Noise May 13th premiere here in Michigan. And that's not just the only premiere. That's the first. And yes, yours truly, Sonia. I'm in the film and I'm so excited. And my first song, I get to premiere my first song in this movie, and I'm so excited. So forget about me. We are here with Tyeese Jackson. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh my God, Tyeese. I just have to say I am such a fan. And I love Tyeese After Dark, Tyeese Report, all of that. So all of you, our fans here at Vent Radio, you have to go to Tyeese After Dark, Tyeese Report on YouTube, Facebook, all of that, and support, Cash App, all of that. What's your Cash App, Tyeese?
It is Tyeese 76. So I don't know why people like to put an R in it, but there's no R, but it's TYESSE 76.
Oh, so they've been calling you Tyrese?
They love saying Tyrese. I don't know why, because I don't look like Tyrese, but
right.
It's TYESSE 76. Oh. Tyeese 76.
Okay. So listen, Tyeese, I love you, but I cannot love on you and acknowledge you without acknowledging Mr. Demario King Jives. That is how I was able to find you once he brought in the Four Kings. Demario, I've been following and watching him, King Jives, for some years, and he is also, he's an awesome young man, and I definitely love and support you guys, the Four Kings, every Friday. You guys come in and bring some great commentary. We would love to bring you all in here on the Vent Radio Network, because I do believe that you guys at this point need to be seeking some talent management, something, because you have something amazing, and I appreciate you all. Now, on one of your shows, well, no, let me stop. Tyeese, tell our listeners about you.
Well, I'm a blogger. I'm a content creator. I'm an advocate, activist. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a little bit of everything, but I'm mostly a truth teller, you know. Very raw. I'm very unfiltered, and I love my followers tremendously. The Green Heart Brigade, you know, we've now added the flames to it, so we keep the fire burning. But yeah, that's who I am, a truth teller.
So you just reached a milestone of 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I was definitely pushing for that.
Yeah, we debuted January 6th, and yeah, we just hit 2,000 and almost 2,100 now subscribers. So yeah, I'm happy about that. Really happy.
That's awesome. I don't know if you, I guess it's natural for you. You may not see what we see, but you just have a way of commentating and adding something to it that's like, oh my God, I would have never thought that. Like when you did the I'm moist, I'm saturated. I was like, okay, Tyeese, that's good.
That doesn't belong to me. That was somebody else. That was
I know, but it was a song. It was hilarious.
That doesn't belong to me. That belongs to somebody else. But you know, that's the thing that we all do now, because whenever we talk about somebody hot or sexy, we've all took it on his catchphrase. And, you know, he was being serious with his worship, but it just went viral. It just went viral.
Yes, I was like, okay, I get it. And so, you know, I said, I follow you guys, and I really hate it. We're in Michigan right now, so the whole hey sister, Clark's sister, kind of thing. That's kind of close to us in a sense. But I was like, when you tell the truth, just tell the truth. It is what it is.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, the Clark sisters have diehard fans like the Beehive,
Yeah.
and they support everything that the Clark sisters do. There's really no gray area with them. It's just either or. And you can speak truth and you can say something and say, you know what, this is right or this is wrong. Mm-hmm. Never be so diehard that you can never, ever, correct or say, well, y'all didn't do this right or y'all didn't do this right. I never want to be. I love Aretha Franklin like I love my mother, mm-hmm. but I will say, I didn't agree with this if she did something that didn't land. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was here in Detroit at the Aretha Franklin funeral, and every time I hear you, I'd be like, if Tyeese could have been here to see all those people just standing on 7 Mile in Detroit just to honor Aretha, like, I think you would have lost your mind because
it was a beautiful. There were some things about the service that I didn't like, but overall, it was really a really great send off for a woman that contributed so much to the American landscape. So I was happy that she got a funeral. Not that I exactly envisioned, because that was a little long, but and then there was the eulogy issue. But other than that, it was a really great service.
So before we get into Ed Buck, what brought you so close to Aretha? I really wanted to ask you, like, what brought you to her? What has connected you to her?
For my teenage years, it was all Stephanie Mills. Oh. My teenage years. It wasn't until I got older that Aretha, became the force in my spiritual, wherewithal. Her voice, there's something about her voice. Even in her later years, it still had a majesty or a majestic kind of tone to it that kind of strikes me every time I hear it. Mm-hmm. And so that just became my queen, my, mother, spiritual mother, my muse, everything. There's something in her voice that just encompasses beauty and spirituality and Afrocentricity and womanhood and love and life and hurt, pain, whatever you need, you can find it in her voice, in one of her songs. You really can.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely.
In my early, when I was a teenager, it was just all about Stephanie Mills. I was like, Stephanie.
So why is Stephanie?
It's still Stephanie, but, everybody has to take a back seat to the queen.
So why Stephanie? Because she spent some time with us here in Detroit as well when she was married to Michael Saunders.
She did an album on Motown. It didn't, do anything, but Stephanie, I don't know. It was something about her fierceness and the fact that this little lady that's about 4'9" that's got this powerful voice. It was just, I love Stephanie. I just love Stephanie. And she has that thing that Aretha has. There's a magic in her voice that I hear, so.
That's good. And I really think she would need to hear that. So I'm going to try to reach out to her because I think she needs to hear that, especially with all that she goes through with her son. Yeah, she definitely still has her house and her family here in Michigan. And, I like that. I love that. Yeah. I love that you have given some honor to people that, kind of feel like they have been forgotten. And so that's wonderful. So, Tyeese, on your shows or a few of your shows, you have given your testimony. And you have talked about some of the amazing things and difficult things that you have gone through. And I really want to have you back because I really want to delve into that. One of the things that you talked about on one of your shows is Ed Buck. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the All Black because I had that app to watch the documentary. And I was like, so how did we not know about this? How did we miss this? Like, as media, where were we?
Well, it got picked up mainly due to the one person, really, my sister Jasmine Canick. Mm-hmm. It got picked up nationally. It started out locally, and then it got picked up nationally, due in part to my sister, Jasmine Canick. But the situation is that when it comes to Black bodies, there's never a rush to cover Black bodies, you know. But then you add in a component of Black LGBTQ bodies, and then you get doubly the blackout, or people just don't care. And these were young men of color who were in the sex trade, so they were just looked at as expendable. We see this with our Black women and missing girls as well, the expendability of the missing and exploited Black women in America. Nobody cares. When Natalie Holloway went missing, she was on every TV screen. But there are countless missing Black girls that are just thrown to the wayside, you know, in the news cycle. So that happened to our brothers, Jamel Moore, and our other brother that was murdered.
I looked at it like, you know, so in media we're ignoring this, and then as I started to research more and more, and I'm like, so are we missing a whole kind of story of what's going on with the sex workers, what's going on within the LGBTQ community? I was watching the documentary, and they were saying, you know, where there is dissension between those who are gay and maybe those who are transgender, and I was just like, yes, we're missing a whole way of ministering, empowering to a whole sector of people that we just don't hear about. I felt really bad, like I did not know. I really didn't.
Well, a lot of people don't know, and there are quite a few that do know, but because it doesn't fit their spiritual narrative, you know, because if you're not talking about salvation or repentance, people really just don't care about same-gender loving people. So that's why you have so many countless runaway teens on the streets on any given night, because people simply don't care. They're throwaways. They're considered reprobates and deviants and sexually immoral. So there's no redemptive value in anything that you can put forth other than repentance. And they don't love people where they are. You know, you can have your own point of view spiritually about a person, but that does not negate the fact that you should keep the greatest commandment, and that's to love your brother as yourself. So that's one of the biggest problems we have with the church and the divide with the gay community, is that you're not seen as anything other than through the lens of religiosity and antiquated dogma.
And so, yeah, because I know my uncle was born a hermaphrodite, and throughout his years, he realized he was a homosexual male. He served in Vietnam and was dishonorably discharged because of his homosexuality. My younger brother is homosexual, and he was abused within the religious community because he was free, and he felt like I should be able to come out and tell my family, and I should be able to come out and tell everybody. And the people said, no, you don't come out. Stay in your closet. And as his response to that, he began to abuse drugs, because he kind of felt like, you know, the people that I love and who I thought would be okay with me, they don't even love me anymore. And then I have a young man that's a friend of mine. He actually kind of introduced me to the fact that there were a lot of young men and women who became sex workers as a result of some of the complications they went through coming out, or, you know, getting into drug abuse. And he introduced me to the fact that there is you gain a mother and a father within a community, somebody who can kind of motivate you and keep you in the right direction. And yet you have to go out here and do what you have to do. And they feel isolated for the most part. So my question to you is, how can those who are not maybe in that community, how can we help? What do we do?
Well, the simple thing is that you have to understand that you cannot pray the gay away. It is not a demonic spirit that's living in somebody that you can exercise. The thing that you can do most is just love the person in spite of. You don't have to throw away anything that you believe religiously, because we understand religiosity is a stronghold sometimes. So we're not telling you to throw away your biblical beliefs or whatever, but a basic tenet of just loving your child, your nephew, your grandson, it seems like that would be very simple, but it's not. And I'm not saying that it's not hard on a parent or a loved one when they find out that their loved one is same-sex attracted. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not, because many people attribute it to like it's a death of a child or loved one. The person that they envisioned, the person that they wanted in life to raise and nurture is somebody different from what they envisioned. So that's kind of like you have to process that like a death. So we're not also saying that, it's not hard on the parents. We understand that, or the grandparents, or whoever raises the child. But what we are saying, and I always say we, but I always speak like I'm speaking for a million people. But what I am saying, Sonia, is that one of the basic tenets is just basically love the child, because sex work is generated out of the lack of compassion from family members, from community, and especially if you're trans, employment opportunities are just not there. So trans women, trans men, they go to the streets and they work to eat. Nobody, I want to be clear, because I think somebody said this one time, they just want to go out there and run the streets. I forgot who it was, some really noted theologian. They just want to go out there and run the streets, just let them be. Nobody wants to be a sex worker. Nobody, when you're in kindergarten, people say, the kids say, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. Nobody raises their hands up and say, I want to be a sex worker. It is born out of the necessity to survive. That's why they call it survival crimes, because a lot of times you have no other choice. Everybody doesn't have the same pathology, whereas something traumatic happens to them, and they pull themselves together real quick and pull themselves up by their bootstraps and power forward. There are so many different variances in people's story and pathology that lead them down this road to sex work, drugs, and all kinds of other vices.
Well, I do have to let you know that the Tyeese Squad is here, and CBBJ said the Tyeese Squad is here. Sherman Walker, Mysterious Love, they're all here. They had to let me know they here for Tyeese. The Tyeese Squad is in the building.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so, I just feel like I'm gonna contact you, Tyeese, because I do feel like there is a necessary documentary or just conversation that needs to be had, because as I've been watching this, and I know we're supposed to be talking about Ed Buck, but we have to have a conversation about this. Like, because if you get to that place and there is no place you think of that you can turn. And so when we think of, we're in ministry and we're doing this and we're feeding the homeless and we're doing that, we're not tapping into a whole sector of people that need us. And I don't understand why. Is it just the LGBT component? So like we're so against that we would just say, hey, you just go rot somewhere. We can't support you. Like, what is it?
If you see something as demonic, if you see something as a spirit, an evil spirit, then you don't see any value in that. And if that's rooted in, you chose that.
Right.
You chose this, that you can change, then the onus becomes on the person, the same gender loving person. It takes the onus off of the pastor, the clergy, the missionary, the saints, and now puts it on that person because they chose this. So if they want to change, they need to come down here to the pulpit and repent, and then everything will be better. Right. If that was the case, I'm sure there would be a mass exodus of people if you could just go and pray it away. Because every gay person has said that prayer one time in their life, maybe more than once, and they still understand that it's not going away. It's not going anywhere. So that's the situation. And I can give you the Cliff Note version of the situation. And I heard my sister T.S. Madison talk about it. And that's when I was like, wow, okay, I got it. Because I was trying to put that situation together in my mind. Like, you don't necessarily have to come from an abusive home to wind up on the streets working and all of that. You don't, that's a story. Everybody don't have that story where their mama was beating them and your daddy was trying to beat the gay out of you, and then you ran to Santa Monica or Ponce de Leon or somewhere, or, Ninth and Kipling, or, Congress. So what happens is that, thank you, T.S. Madison, for this. Sometimes the environment in which you live in is just not conducive with who you are as a person. The environment. It doesn't mean nobody's in your house spewing hate at you. It doesn't mean that nobody is beating you with belts. It's just the simple fact that you know that I am gay, I'm same-sex attracted, but there's nobody here giving me the help and the love that I need as who I am. I just don't feel like being in an environment where I'm just stripped of who I am at my core, non-verbally. And that is what we call non-affirmation. Okay, non-affirmation. I believe the non-affirmation aspect of it is more deadlier than the physical abuse. And when I say non-affirmation, I mean when everybody in your family knows that you're gay and nobody's saying anything about it. One of the worst analogies I've ever heard is when people say, we just waiting for you to come out. We're just waiting for you to tell us.
You mentioned that about when the Tyler Perry thing came out.
Yeah, that's horrible. Because you need to generate that conversation as the adult, the parent, the guardian. Why don't you generate that conversation? So what happens is that sometimes people just get up and they just say, I'm just going to try to figure this out on my own. And the last place for you to be with that type of vulnerability is the streets, because I was there. I didn't even understand what was going on inside of me at that time. At 16 years old, I'm 16. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on internally. Mother's a Christian, loved me ferociously. I ain't never seen a day where I needed anything. I had two brothers, older brothers. They were both out and doing their things and stuff, hyper masculine. There's nothing here for me to discuss what I'm going through. I had a best friend, but she had some issues, around sexuality, it was a lot. And then I'm in a city where there's no other gay people that I never saw a gay person in school other than myself. So there's nobody for me to talk to, nobody for me to bounce things off of. So you wind up out walking around, looking around. You're going to the mall, you're walking the streets, and that's the last place for a child or teenager to be that's emotionally and psychologically vulnerable. That's where the streets suck you in. And, you wind up going places and doing things that you don't need to be doing at that age. It's happened countless times.
Okay, so Tyeese, you doing some heavy lifting, as you say, and keeping the fire burning. And keeping the fire burning. So get that Cash App one more time.
The Cash App is $ T as in Tom, Y as in Yo-Yo, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, E as in Edward again, 76. But my moms, they're going to put it in there. They'll put it in there.
They have. They absolutely have. And they said keep the fire burning and all of that. Yes, they have.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Okay, wow. April, do you have a question? Wow. Okay, they say yay, Tyeese. Tyeese, I am going to have you back probably multiple times, because it's a lot that has to be unpacked.
It's like I tell my followers all the time, honey, we have to do a series on this because
Yeah.
this is not. I think people see Pose. We watch Pose. Pose is a chronological series.
Right.
You know, it's a series that's covering certain time frames. And people just think that's basically, but it's so expansive. And y'all know I love Pose, but it's so many layers to the story of same gender loving people of color that we would definitely have to do. I would have to do at least a 7-8 part series on it.
Okay,
Because
so we're going to have to talk about that
deep.
because you got to do it. We got to do it. We got to figure out something because it's necessary because as you were, when you mentioned the Ed Buck story and then I really got into that. And as I said, I'm an avid follower of the Four Kings every Friday. DeMario King Jives, Kyrie, Darius, Tyeese Jackson. I'm definitely a lover and follower. I just realized it's so much that people who may not have tapped into, just a lot of stuff, they just are unaware of. And there's a lot of people hurting because of the unknown. And I feel like even with my brother's situation, my brother came out to my father and my father was unaccepting. And not so long after my father passed away. And my brother took it as my father was so heartbroken that he was ready to just go when really he was sick and he just went because it was time to go. It had nothing to do with him coming out, but he took that so to heart. And to know that was in 2001. So even for all this time, he's been carrying that. And I don't know how to tap into it. I don't know how to help him. And he doesn't want to be prayed on. And, I don't want no scripture and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, so what do we do? Because I want to tell you that I love you. And I want to show you that I love you. But let me in. So how do people do that, Tyeese?
Well, with your brother, I don't know him personally. I don't know the story,
Right.
The multiple layers to that story, but I'm just going by what you tell me. So oftentimes I've seen this in my own life and with other people is that some people, Ayana calls it stuck on story, right? And that is you attach yourself to these traumas because it's beneficial to you. Something in you finds it satisfying for you to beat yourself up, and sometimes it's just, that helps me with the guilt. If I can just attach myself to me being the cause of my father dying, I can attach myself to that, and that'll keep me, from really going there. But a lot of people don't go into the deep corners and crevices in their mind and erase and remove all of that emotional clutter. They don't want to do that because it's too painful. Mm-hmm. I say it all the time. People take trauma and pain, they put it in a box and they put it on the top shelf of the closet and they never revisit it. So what you have now, you have a lot of people that are running around functionally looking okay, but they are walking around with years and decades of trauma and pain. And it's unfortunate, but the situation is that there's nothing you could do that could change the outcome of your father's death because that was already predestined in life, But if you have internalized that, you're going to have to do a lot of work to de-internalize that. If your brother sees this, he has to do a lot of work. But Iyanla says all the time, there's something in you that gets something out of just allowing yourself to be beaten and whipped emotionally like that. And you got to figure out what that is. At the end of the day, my mother died before we had the conversation. I was 19, going on 20, and we just never had the conversation. We had little flames everywhere, little fires everywhere, right? Somebody may say something, a teacher called one time and said something. Sometimes my brother would put me on the spot and say something. It would bubble up, and then it would just, simmer down. And then sometimes with me and her, because she's a Leo, I'm an Aquarius, that was just a butting of the heads. And sometimes we get into our little tete-a-tetes. She would say things, nothing hurtful, but she would just say things that let me know that she knew. And that conversation was never had. But once Mother passed away, that was just like the end of it, for me being concerned about what people think. The rest of the family, aunties, cousins, nephews, all these people, it doesn't really bother me. That's just unique to me. But your father and your mother, it does weigh on you if you feel like you've disappointed them, or if you feel like you're responsible for a health ailment due to you, being who you are. It can weigh on you. So yes, it can be very heavy on your brother, but he has to really work through all of that. It's going to take some time, because once you packed all of that on for years, it takes some time to unpack all of that as well.
Yes. So Chandria T said he has to heal on his own, no matter how. Tell him it's not his fault. Even have to heal, just give him time. And a Thai squad is in the building. So yes. Oh gosh, Tyeese, like we have to.
People, let me just say this about the give people time. Time is a great thing, but time can also be very detrimental. Because a lot of times how many times we hear somebody say, just give her a little space, and then people give people space, and that space sometimes can be worse than reaching out and talking to the person. So time will shock you how fast time will get away from you. Mm-hmm. So like they say at the airport or the train station, if you see something, say something. I think it's very important that we not just sit around and let people fester under the guise of time heals all wounds, because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. So we need to address things and call a thing as well.
Wow. Tyeese, I have to make way for the next show. I'm gonna inbox you in my number.
We never got to add book, but
no, that's we did.
We'll get to him.
Right. So I'm gonna have you back multiple times. We just gonna have to make a whole Tyeese show on Vent Radio, because you have so much wisdom. Every time I watch you in King Jives, I watch y'all, I'm like, we gotta do more with this. Y'all got so much in you that the people need, and we definitely we gotta do more to bring y'all out. So definitely tell us about the Kings show on Friday.
Yeah, you can check us out on Demario King Jives official YouTube. That's King Jives, King Jives YouTube. You can follow me and catch me on my platform, the official Tyeese Report, right here on YouTube as well. We're on Friday nights at 5:30 West Coast, 8:30 East Coast, and my show and my platform, I'm various times throughout the day. Monday and Wednesday, I stream through Pyro Media. Monday and Wednesday at 12:15, and Thursday I have an adult content show called Tyeese After Dark, 7 o'clock. West Coast, 10 o'clock East Coast, Tyeese After Dark. But the official Tyeese Report is where you can find me on most platforms.
Yes, absolutely. And then Mother Brown had them $40
Mother Brown and her expensive plates and baked goods. My God. Mother Brown has become a whole character in the Tyeese Jackson brand.
Yes, it is hilarious. That's why I listen, let me tell you, you have my full support in the Vent Radio family. We actually have a record label here, Street Noise record label, and it's a whole family here. And so you have our support, you and the Four Kings, King Jives. We are looking for ways to really push you guys, because your message has to get out. Your commentary, your comedy, Tyeese, you are hilarious. I don't even know if you know how hilarious you are, but at the same time, you can bring that whole wisdom and seriousness to a situation. Even when I hear you quote scripture and all that kind of stuff, and It's like, and you can get somebody together real quick and then love them. When you do the whole fake cry, like, okay, I'm back. I love it. And so you have something amazing and special. You are a great person. I support you. I love you. And I just bless God for you. And I really want to push you, you guys, because we got to do this. You are what we need in our media.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a big space out there for people that are just truth tellers, not pretentious. I tell people all the time, the reason a lot of people are not watching a lot of these shows is because people just don't have time for people feel like if I want to just watch the news, I can turn on the 6 o'clock news.
Right.
They need something real. They need something tangible. Somebody that looks like them, that talks like them, real, raw dialogue. Like I said, some people say, well, honey, listen, I can just watch 2020 if I want all that, So people are looking for real, raw, honest dialogue. And that's what I try to do.
And I think the other component is because you do it genuinely. It comes from your heart. It's who you are. It's genuinely you. It's not no airs to it. It's not you trying to be in any particular bag or any of that. It's you. No. And so I think that's why myself and so many people can receive it. So I want you all to go to, so if they want to join you on Facebook, where do they go?
Just Tyeese Jackson. Tyeese Jackson on Facebook. The Tyeese Report on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And, we're just getting our footing. So we're working on TikTok and other platforms. But our main destination right now is YouTube at the official Tyeese Report. That's where we meet and congregate every day.
Yes. Absolutely. So I need you all to subscribe. If you're not, the squad is on here on the feed, but I need all of you, Vent Radio, Street Noise Label, all of you to definitely go on to YouTube and support. I'm there every time I see something Tyeese or the Four Kings or Demario is doing. I'm there, definitely supporting, and I definitely we got to do more. Tyeese, I got to make way for Larry Whitfield, Sunday Throwbacks, but I'm definitely going to be contacting you because we got to bring you back on. Like, we didn't even touch Ed Book. we didn't touch Ed Book at all.
Yeah, because we really need to address Ed Buck thoroughly. Yeah. We can't do a rush job on Ed, so yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tyeese. So, Vent Radio family, we are going to get out of here to make way for the next show, but I will be contacting you soon. Thank you so much, Ty Squad, for tuning in and supporting Tyeese. Oh, I love it. Kevin said
they're gonna come, so I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah, they said keep the fire burning. Oh, that's wonderful. And so, yes. So I love you. I will be contacting you soon, and thank you for coming on.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. And in closing, I'd just like to tell anybody, any LGBTQ person that's silently hurting or in pain, it gets better. Suicide is not the answer. Killing yourself is not the answer. I was there. Had my whole suicide note written, had it all planned down how I was going to go out. And if I would have did that back in 98, 99, I wouldn't be here talking with Sonia. So I'm letting you know it gets better. Hold your head up high, shake yourself loose, and know that God loves you, irregardless of your orientation. And it's going to be all right. Trust me, I'm a living, tangible witness that it gets better.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. Okay, so April, we going to get out of here. Oh, my God. You just preached, Tyeese. We need Demario with this little beat that he'll do. This E flat that he'll do.
All we need is a hammer and organ. We can have church.
Exactly.
Minister, but baby, I can preach.
You listen here. Okay, so we're bringing you back, Tyeese. Just look out for my messages, and so I and even with that, I thank you. I just reached out to Tyeese on Messenger, like, hey, I need you on the show. Da 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 da. Tyeese didn't know me. Tyeese was like, okay, so what's the details? What you
I knew
saying?
the name. We were friends. I know. Yes, I knew the name, but
yes.
Who's this lady? But I know the name. We're Facebook friends, but yeah. Yes. I was more than willing.
Yes. You were, and you came on, and I thank you. So, okay, April, we got to play some music. I know we got to get out of here. So, I will be reaching out to you soon. Thank you, Ty Squad. Thank you, Vent Radio. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We definitely will be coming back. Y'all gonna see Tyeese again on Vent Radio, absolutely. And so, we when you see me, Tyeese, you know I'm coming with Vent Radio, Street Noise Records, the beautiful noise film behind me. So, we definitely love you and support you, absolutely.
All right. Love you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. What?